to Sohmalife Sundays. My name is Reverend Lynn LaBorde, and every Sunday, for the past 6 months, I've been coming live with my co-host, Mr. Robert Scarpa. Rob and I have been friends for several years out of Huntington, New York, and Rob came to me in the summer of last year and said, "Hey, I want to, do this, kind of talk show, talking about spirit and things like that." And I said, "I love that idea. Why don't we do this together?" And Sohmalife was born. We've done this, I think, our 26th week. So we've done this for about a half a year. And what we've done is we've just invited people within our spiritual community to come and share their relationship and their journey with spirit. And I am delighted to introduce you to our guest tonight. Her name is Maria Barnes. She is sisters with one of my best friends, Joanne. And there's another sister, Susan. There's actually 8 in their family. And I have nominated myself as an honorary Cooper sister because I love these women dearly. And Maria's got really what I consider an incredibly fascinating and noble and beautiful journey. She is a 2 times cancer survivor. And from my understanding, she used the spiritual principles of A Course in Miracles to heal herself. And she's going to talk more about that. She's a published author, and she's just a remarkable woman. So Maria, I'm delighted to have you here with us this evening, my love.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you.
Welcome, Maria. Welcome.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Robert.
You too. You too.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, so I'd love to have Rob start the evenings out because he too has a pretty remarkable journey with spirit. Several years ago, he was a guest at the Sohmalife Sanctuary and did a channeling program with a friend of ours, Wendy Gale, who, by the way, for everybody, if you could please send your prayers out to Wendy. She's found herself in the hospital recovering from an unexpected illness. So, please, if you get a chance, include Wendy. But something really extraordinary opened up for Rob and his communication relationship with spirit. So, Rob, if you could talk some about that and share one of your channelings with us.
Sure. Hello, everyone. Hello on Facebook.
Hello.
Hey, Pete. Each week I share messages I receive via automatic writing, and you never know who's going to come in from day to day. Sometimes I ask specifically for a certain energy or entity or angel to come in. But most days I just leave it up to my higher self to tell me who's there, who's got the message of the day. And this particular message comes from Adironda. She's an energy from the 17th dimension. I don't know if she's ever been a human or not, but she's very witty, very wise, and always has a lot of good things to say. This is a brief one, but I reach out to Osiris. He's one of my guides. And I said, "Osiris, are you there?" He says, "Yes, I am." I said, "Please connect me with the energy that has a message I may share." And I hear, "Greetings, beloved. It is I, Adironda. And today is as good a day as any to have a talk. As you know, much has been changing on your planet, and it will continue to be for quite some time longer. You see, the forces of light are engaged in a mission of conversion, providing the opportunity for those who want to switch sides and run towards the light, as each soul is provided the choice to stay or go now. Once we have been through the whole roster, then things really begin to get fun. It is the intent of so many on this side of the veil to liberate as many souls as possible, thus making this transition an even bigger success. I can't say how many have made the choice to stick with the light, but what I can say is this: the number is huge. So be not concerned about what does and who doesn't. Just continue to focus your energies on the love and compassion that is source energy, and focus your light on those who may still be on the fence. We have a chance to convert them all, but that relies on the whole group thinking in kind. So today I say thank you for being there to assist and hold the light for those to see. This is a wonderful time to be alive on Mother Gaia and be able to witness this graduation. It is the teacher's crowning moment, and I am one of many who love to wear the crown. So please continue what you've been doing and know that it affects so many in a positive way. We thank you. We love you, Adironda. So,
Beautiful.
right. In short, it's about the collective consciousness. It's about all of us focusing on the light. Each week, a lot of the messages, right, drill right in on the light. For several weeks, we were told to repeat the phrase, the light won, the light won. So I've been doing that. I do it all day long, especially when I see it's 11 minutes after any hour. And we're just continuing to add energy into the collective so we can help to make this transition as quick, painless, and smooth as possible. Because I think we've all had enough of the nonsense and everything else that's been going on in our world. I think we're all ready for something new and better and different. And that's the focus. That's been the focus of every message I get each week. And I'm glad to be able to share them with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Always a pleasure. So, Maria, thank you so much for agreeing to be here with us, my love. Would you please, we call this Sohmalife Sundays, A Journey with Spirit, and everyone's got the most extraordinary and unique stories to share, but yours is really compelling for a lot of people. Could you kind of give a background of how your journey with Spirit began, how it's deepened, and what it's evolved into today?
Sure. Well, I think we're spiritual beings. I mean, I know we're spiritual beings. So I think that most children are very spiritual. And I certainly felt very connected to the earth when I was little. I remember when we moved from New Jersey when I was very little. Well, I was 6 at that time. We moved to Europe. And we were going for a long time. So I loved where we lived in New Jersey. It was in Morristown, New Jersey. And I remember running around the house to all the trees around the house and in the back and saying goodbye to all the trees. I actually went and hugged them all. I just loved them. And I don't think I've ever told anyone that, but I really said goodbye to all my friends, the trees. And I don't know what possessed me to do it, but I knew I was going to miss them. And it's funny because I've gone back to Morristown and to that house over the years, and I always look at the trees. So I love the trees. I'm very into trees. But I think that's where I really, started, is just loving being outdoors in nature. And I think most kids are that way. I think kids love to be outside. So that's pretty much where, you start. You're just playing outside. You're having a fun time. You're exploring. And then, as I got older, well, both of my parents, I have to say, I was raised in a Catholic household. My father had studied to be a priest. My mother had studied to be a nun. And obviously, they didn't go forward with that. But 8 children later, here we are. But, Catholicism, the church, religion was always very big in my house. My dad was a very spiritual man. My mother was as well. But I think my father probably had a greater impact on all of his children in that way. And I think I got a deep sense of faith from my dad. And that has carried me throughout my life, actually. So I think those two started me, gave me a foundation. I think it gave all of the kids in my family that foundation. And, and then like you, I know we've had this conversation before. I was just born curious about things. I, like you, I was drawn to Edgar Cayce as a very young person.
Mhm.
From there, I went into the Seth books. I mean, the New Age section was my section, right? So
Yeah.
I think I've pretty much read it all over the years and loved it all. And I had seen A Course in Miracles in the section for many years, but I never, as I say, when I wrote about it, I'd pick up the book and it was just so dense. And I was like, oh my God, I just can't read this. It's just too many words. So I let it go for a really long time. And then a book came out in 2003 called The Disappearance of the Universe by Gary Renard. And he had me at the title, I have to say. I mean, it was just, that was it.
Yeah.
And, it put it in the vernacular. It made it so easy to understand. And I've never looked back. So that's pretty much, A Course in Miracles has really been my path since then.
Yeah. It's the book that called to me from the bookshelf, literally. I always call it like in Alice in Wonderland, how she had that little bottle that said, drink me. When I was in a dark time for myself, it put me back on the path of A Course in Miracles. And trees are also my favorite thing in nature. So I
Yeah.
definitely definitely share
trees.
that with you.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. And then, of course, so in 2003, I began with A Course in Miracles. And in 2006, I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time. So I knew by 2006 that it had come into my life for a reason. And I firmly believe that it is my studying of the Course and the text that is why I'm still here.
Yeah.
And that really became apparent when I was re-diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer in 2017, which is incurable. So what they do is when they sit you down with your oncologist, they say, well, we can't cure you, but we can extend your life a few years. The average is 3. And so I thought, I really don't accept that. I just don't accept that. She's sitting there talking to me, and I'm like, well, I don't think that's my path. And went right back to the Course. And a few years before, I had felt that I wanted to write a little primer on the Course, just the basic tenets of A Course in Miracles. And so I decided I would do that. And so that's how I came to write my book, Put Cancer Behind You. And as I was sitting writing it, the guy had said, well, this will be your swan song. You're going to die. So, there you go. Just write this. Yeah, that's what he said. He said, write this, and that's how people will remember you. So I thought, great. So I sat down to write it, and I started writing. And, I was so busy checking back and forth, making sure that what I was saying was actually true. And listening to Jesus, because I had found Tina at that time, listening to him talk about all the basic tenets. I sat there for 2 months and wrote the book, and I had 2 blood tests during that time. And in that time, my cancer went from up here to 0. It just went away. So I thought to myself, and then I went to my oncologist about 2 months later, and she says, well, you're in remission. And I thought, wow, that's great. And then I thought to myself, how did that happen? So I had to deconstruct it. And honestly, now I understand what happened. At the time, I was just like, well, this is great. But I understand, I just raised my frequency. So the Course is a very high frequency book.
Yes.
And when you immerse yourself in the teachings of the Course, which are all about love, there's no higher frequency,
Right.
that did it. There's nothing, I didn't eat anything different. I didn't say anything different. I didn't walk, I didn't exercise. I was just sitting there at my table being a slug, eating and writing. And that's all I did. And I just realized everything comes from the mind. It really brought home that everything is of your mind. The mind is the builder. Edgar Cayce always said it. He was absolutely correct. And that's where it comes from. So if you want to change the world, don't worry about changing the world, worry about changing your mind about the world, right? So that's it. And that's my lesson. And that's I'm out here to promote to people who basically do have cancer, to help them, assist them actually in their journey through cancer. And if they choose to stay, that's great. I'm here happy to help them. If they choose not to stay, that's their path. I honor that. Radical acceptance, right? One of the key tenets. So that's pretty much it. And we've just had a brother who passed from cancer. That was a huge lesson in radical acceptance, I have to say. But we have to honor his journey. And he taught us wonderful things through it.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always loved about you and Joanne and Susan is how deeply and how quickly you all laugh. And I think that that's also been a part of it, because when you can laugh at yourself and realize that you've created every circumstance in your life through your mind, and you can laugh at yourself enough to say, wow, look at what I did. Now let's see what I can do to change it,
Yeah.
After the Course in Miracles, I had this very, very interesting experience where I was woken at about 2 a.m. By Jesus. We talk a lot. And he sent me downstairs at the time to my office to grab a book. And it was The Way of Mastery. And I'm like, what do you want me to do with this? And the title, The Way of Mastery, it just said the title was Yeshua. And I'm like, well, who actually wrote this book? And he said, I want you to read this and I want you to channel me. And I'm like, well, it's already channel material. Why would I do that? And so I spent a couple hours, and finally at 5:40 in the morning, I found this guy by the name of Mark Hammer. And he was the one that had, started this journey with Jesus. And there was a book called the Yeshua Letters that chronicled his journey with him. And I went to order it on Amazon, and it said previously ordered, and I had ordered it a few years ago. It was sitting on my bookshelf as well. So I reached out to him, And I said, listen, I have a really strange, thing to tell you, but Jesus came to me in the middle of the night, woke me up, had me find your book, and said that he wants me to start channeling him. And I'm, calling to ask you permission, reaching out to ask you permission. He goes, you don't need my permission. They're his words, not mine. And it must be your turn. And I think that for any of us that have a personal relationship with Jesus, which I know you have, as we've discussed, I think that alone raises your frequency. I think your
Absolutely.
lessons raising your frequency. We
Yeah.
have people reading the same lesson every day for 30 days. There are 35 lessons, and we're going to spend the next 3 years going through them. And every time people read them, the words come through your mouth. All of this channeled material carries that energy, and it can't help but raise your frequency.
Exactly.
I saw Deborah clutch her chest. Deborah went through a similar journey with breast cancer.
Ah,
And yeah,
I didn't know
And
that, Deb.
I was diagnosed in 2006. So when you
Same
said
here.
that,
Oh my gosh.
I just, I love you, Maria.
Oh, thank you, Deb. I love you too. And I'm wow. Well, I'm glad we're still here. And I do credit our spiritual journey for keeping us here. I think that it certainly is the reason, and it's service to others. And that's the path forward for all of us. But some of us, we all come about it in our own way. For me, it happened to be cancer. I agreed to that. It's a soul contract. That was something I was going to do before I came here. And that has been made very clear to me through people channeling. And, it was just what I was going to do. I mean, other people do it in other ways. So we're all here to help. We all have our little audience or a big audience, but we're all here to help whoever is in our path, and they'll show up for you. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So true.
definitely.
So true.
I like that you said that, your words, your thoughts, all of that is 100% what controls your health.
And that's the path forward for all of us. But some of us, we all come.
I like that you said that, your words.
Hearing replay.
Yeah. Who's that from? 100% what controls your health.
And that's somebody has their audio on.
Someone's on Facebook as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, well, there. Yeah.
Someone's on Facebook as well as the Zoom right now.
Right.
Yeah, and so many of the messages that I receive talk very specifically about your health, your words, your thoughts, how everything aligns with what comes out of your mouth. And your health is affected by that. When you're not at ease, right, you're diseased. So it's all about finding out what's bothering you, and don't let that manifest into something physical within the body.
Right.
Jesus said
Get
to
rid
me,
of it, cleanse it, whatever you've got to do.
all the healing happens in the mind.
It does.
What he did when he
Absolutely
would lay his hands on people, what he did when he did healing, and what he taught the apostles to do was to heal the mind, and then the body would follow.
Yeah.
And, to me, that's what the Course in Miracles does. The disappearance of the universe makes the Course in Miracles really user-friendly. It's all about forgiveness. And we're on lesson 3 in this first book, The Way of the Heart in the Pathway of Mastery. And Jay just talks all about forgiveness, forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others, seeing people as innocent rather than guilty. And
right.
I think that that's really what, like you had, can you talk about your journey of forgiveness with the cancer?
Absolutely. So forgiveness, the way the world, the way I grew up understanding forgiveness is not actually forgiveness. It's actually, as the Course points out, another form of judgment. So what is true forgiveness? And it's really seeing each other as Christ, as your perfect self, the way you're created. And when you do that, you're freeing yourself up, because the world is holographic, which is also one of the tenets of A Course in Miracles. It doesn't come out and actually say that. You have to read between the lines. That's why it takes people so many years to actually get it. But actually the world is, the universe, the multiverse actually is holographic. So everything is just a mirror of yourself. It's all consciousness projected. And whatever vibration you're projecting it at is what's going to come back to you. So you do want to be high vibe. You absolutely. And so that's what I strive to do. And I hope to assist others in being high vibe, because if you're at a certain vibration, it's absolutely incompatible with disease. And so I did write another book. It's coming out. I'm just finishing it right now.
What's
It's
the
about
title of the next book?
You know, I hate to say this, I'm embarrassed, but I can't remember. All I know is it's about frequency.
That's
I know
all
I'm
right.
writing the damn thing, but anyway, it is.
I like the title High Vibe Living.
I know it is about that. So it's about how to use how to get high vibe and how to stay high vibe. And of course, and it's not to dismiss anything that you do in the physical. You have to, you should be aligned. So you should eat organic, as my sister would promote. My dietitian, registered nutritionist sister would absolutely promote that. And you do think good thoughts. I mean, it's basically your thoughts. So your lifestyle does count for something, definitely, but it's not the number one factor. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tending the garden of our mind and our thoughts that, that shape our reality. One of the things that Yeshua talked about in the Yeshua Letters, which chronicles Mark's journey with, Jay coming to him for the first time, is that he said there are 4 keys. The first is desire, and then comes intention. Desire born of spirit, intention from the mind, allowance from the emotional body, and then acceptance in the physical body.
Absolutely.
And using those 4 keys are extraordinary for it. It goes with the paradigm matrix that I had been taught years ago for manifestation.
Yes, exactly.
And he says the allowing is really the place of allowing yourself to remember everything that you forgot about the truth of you, which is our holiness and our divinity.
Right. But that's the part that we have the hardest. That's hard. That's the
And that's
hardest
exactly
part.
what he says. Yes, exactly.
Right. So, because we're always asking, we always have a desire. We're always praying. Basically, every thought is a prayer, and it's all vibration. You're always beeping that out. And the universe, law of attraction, is always answering. But the question is, are you allowing it to arrive? Are you at that matching frequency so that it has to be a match, or it doesn't manifest? So that is very hard for a lot of people to do. That's where we trip ourselves up, is in the allowing. And so working with the allowing, and I'm actually, working on myself a lot to allow. I'm trying, it's a learning process, and it just is a process. Even, I mean, for all of us, but certainly for people who've had a disease like that, you really want to pay attention to that. So that's what I'm focused on right now, is trying to allow.
That's beautiful. I think that's the point at which free will comes into all of it, but really that place where the emotions, the energy and motion in our body comes into play the most, to be able to choose our hearts over our minds, the soul over the ego. That choice point can be, I've always said that the journey, I wasn't the one who said it first, but I've agreed with that the biggest journey is the one, from the head to the heart. And being able to, and the Course in Miracles does it so beautifully, the Way of Mastery, the same. Jay's saying the same thing all the time to all of us. We call him Jay because it's either Yeshua or Jesus.
Right.
You mentioned one of the places where a bunch of us here met, and that was Tina Spalding, who was one of the people that first brought through, the Channeling Jesus material. And she did a year in 2019 of going through each of the lessons of the Course in Miracles, channeling Jesus, and bringing through his commentary.
Right.
And you published a beautiful book called A Year of Forgiveness.
Well, it's a wonderful book, and so if it's, and in working with cancer patients that I've been working with, they're all, so far to date, they've all been a Course in Miracles student.
Beautiful.
So we'll see. So I wrote the second book to reach an audience that's not spiritually oriented. And I thought, so how do you reach them? Well, from a more scientific standpoint. So that's where we get into the physics. And it's simple. It's just very simple. It's the law of attraction. It's energy. It's vibration, frequency. And so if you understand that, and you're not spiritual, you can still get yourself well. You can actually put yourself into remission from you can cure yourself of anything. You just have to want to do it. That you have to absolutely want to do it, or you're not going to succeed. It's your path to do something else.
Right. Wasn't it Norman Cousins who cured himself by watching things that made him laugh?
Possibly, I don't know, but that makes perfect sense.
Sure. Laughter
Perfect
is the best
sense.
medicine, and Hilarion talks
Absolutely.
about it all the time.
You know, the one thing that I did have a channeling with Tina's group when I was writing the book, and they said, look, you're not going to be around if you don't change a few things. And the first thing they said is you need to actually go have fun. And what doctor has ever told you to cure yourself by having fun? To get out there, to get back into nature, to do what you love to do, to fill
Yes.
your heart and have fun.
Yes.
And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be around to see my book published. They actually told me that.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that really shook me up.
Do you remember?
When you first discovered this in 2006, and
Yeah.
you were diagnosed,
hmm
and you started this journey, you'd already been on your journey for 3 years, roughly, right? Or
Well, I'd been on the journey, not with the Course in
Lifetime.
Miracles. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But in 2003, you said you had a shift.
Yeah,
Then in 2006, you came in with this diagnosis.
right.
What was the biggest? Did you identify? Did you have a realization? Something that helped you to accelerate the curing of that diagnosis in 2006?
Yes,
And if
I
so,
had
what was it?
faith. I actually, and it's not, and I don't think that's well, it's not faith in religion. Actually, it was faith in my mother had cancer, and my sister had cancer, and a brother had skin cancer. I mean, there was a lot of cancer in my family, and at that point in time, everyone had survived. So when I walked out of that doctor's office, and I'd seen multiple doctors, but yeah, I never thought I was going to die from it.
Okay.
Just never accepted it. And when it came back, I never accepted it either.
What I had heard, everything manifests within you based on what goes on around you, and a lot of breast cancer from a spiritual perspective is attributed to a broken heart. And that goes for men as well.
Well, I can certainly attest that Lynn has helped me, and the work that we did, Lynn helped me open my heart. And actually, when Lynn was working with me on that, I actually felt my heart open like a rose petal. It's like petal, 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 just open up. So, yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It's gorgeous. When you meet some people and they just feel like you've known them forever, that's what it was like for me with Joanne and Maria and with Susan. Just feeling like, these are, and Deborah actually too, like these people are of my soul. These are my women, my sisters.
I'm pretty sure we've all known each other many lifetimes.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure. This is
And
a
it's
soul
funny
group
'cause
extension.
To where I've moved, Maria's like the closest one to me.
And I love that area. I do love that area.
Can't wait for you and Kevin. Actually, just a quick thing. Joanne is coming down the weekend after her birthday, since she's going to be with you guys in Phoenix. Wanted to know if you and Kevin wanted to come down and join us. We'll do dinner on Saturday night.
Oh, yes, that might be very nice. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
We could do an early one, so.
Right. Now we're only an hour and a half or 2 hours. Before it was a long haul.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, that would be delightful.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for Maria, given this incredible accomplishment? Joanne, are you raising your hand?
I am. Maria and I talked about this a little bit earlier, that not everybody who gets sick is predestined to get better, right? A lot of people come into this world and they're going to experience some things and they may or may not survive them. Maria, can you talk a little bit about the work, the importance of the work that you do or a healer does with people who aren't necessarily, sorry about my cat, she wants to be part of the conversation, who aren't necessarily going to survive the illness, but the importance of working with them anyway, in a way, as if they would survive it. Can you talk? Because I know you're going to be working with people like that and probably already have cancer patients.
It's possible. You don't know what anyone's trajectory is going to be. You get them for such a short time when you're doing these programs, unless they continue for years, because cancer can come back really at any time. So I have found that everyone is different. The ones that I've been working with all are different. So it's been a very individual, it's been very boutique, I have to say. The way you approach, the way you speak with people, the main thing is to get them to open their heart, because it doesn't matter how long their life is, it's the quality of life that counts. And I would say you're going to have a much better quality of life if you're opening your heart, if you're doing what you love. One thing I have been working with them to do is to, depending on, so one of them is very musically inclined, and she's a teacher. She teaches music. She's stage 4 cancer. I won't say what kind, but anyway, I said to her, look, you have got to get out and work with your kids in the most creative way that you can possibly think of. I want you to take those kids out and play your music out on the beach. Go do it. You know, like, think outside the box for what's important to you and whatever resonates with you. So you're connecting with the person with whatever their soul journey is, because everyone is different. So so how you work with them is slightly different. For somebody else, it's very different. But for her in particular, it was a combination of working with her music, working with her writing, working with nature, getting her students out into the outdoors, which is what she wanted to do. But she had to stand up for herself and explain to, you know, the people in the school why she was taking her class out to the beach to have a music lesson, you know, but that fulfilled her soul. So you want to work with people in a way that speaks to them, that supports their interests, that supports their journey and their talents, because that's going to fulfill them. And when they're having fun, you know, it's all about being here and having fun and being loving and just loving your life. So I think that's really the key. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so, you know, that's what I would say.
That's beautiful. And the fact that she's using sound, which is so important.
Oh, yeah.
Sound is the vibration, it's the alignment, it reconnects, restores the energy path throughout the body, the mind. So the music is very important outside, as we know, right? Getting out in nature, touching the ground, being grounded, again, to help to realign. My question to you is, do you use the word miracle a lot? Is it something in your books? Is it something that comes out and around and
it depends. In Put Cancer Behind You, I would say the word miracle is definitely in my book. In the other one, which is for people who are not so spiritual, maybe once or twice. Okay. I'm talking to a different audience.
Oh, sure, I understand. Reason being, I gotten a message a few years back that I haven't published yet. It's with everything else, it's a work in progress. But I was told that the word miracle, just the word itself, is a frequency of alignment. So to actually just say the word as often as possible, just like the words, the light one, where we're giving energy to the light. The word miracle is a pill in itself.
Yeah.
Pure and clear.
I totally believe that. And
reestablishes that vibration.
You know, one of the things that takes your vibration up, if you want to jump timelines, and this is one of the things that I am working with these students, is you have to, so a lot of people who are sick, they're not up at the vibe of love. They're just not there. They're depressed. They're much lower. So you have to bring them to a vibe. Even anger is a higher vibe than depression. It's a more positive vibe. You have to get them up. And so the way you do that is you have them envision something, whatever it is that's triggering them, right? It could be anger. So one of them was very angry at somebody. So I said, I want you to go and I want you to think about that. And I want you to feel that, because one of the reasons you have cancer is you've closed down, you've closed your heart, you're not feeling. I need you to feel into this. So I want you to go and I want you to actually get angry. And I want you to hold that anger for at least 70 seconds. And while you're, I want you to rant and rave. I want you to just go full out, 70 seconds. And then, so it's important, because you have to hold it and envision it for a certain amount of time for it to actually become something that becomes a belief. And then when you get up to that vibe, then you can go higher. So then you're going to go up to, something else. And there is a scale that one of the things I use is the Abraham Hicks scale of emotion. And in that Abraham Hicks scale, depression's the bottom, love is the top. So we're working up the scale. but you have to hold each one for 70 seconds, and you have to do it multiple days and multiple times a day to get it up. And then once you've done that and you've envisioned it and you add emotion to it. So as you add emotion to it, you're actually, the vibration, it's in your vortex, it's out there, it's in your time, it's a timeline that is a possibility for you. You're going to match that. So it's a matter of teaching people how to match the frequency of where they want to go from where they are.
Exactly.
And that's how you do it. But you have to hold it for a certain time. And so it's fascinating. And if you want to know more about that, of course, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, channels Abraham, fascinating stuff. And really, really, I think the students, the cancer patients really responded to just getting these tools to start working with their emotions, because it's all about emotion. It really is. You have to bring it up. Yeah.
Yes.
That's beautiful, because what that is that's a process of duplication. And when they're able to let themselves feel what's actually there, it causes erasure. It's one of the laws of physics. Duplication causes erasure.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it neutralizes it.
Yeah.
When two things become balanced, right? They
That's
match,
right.
the frequency matches, that's
E
it.
equals MC squared. It's Einstein's theory of relativity.
Absolutely.
Somebody had actually asked, how do you work with others to change their thoughts and beliefs? And that's the perfect answer.
That is it. So I give them the tools. And then what I also, there are many ways to do it, but the other thing is I make them write. I actually make them write. They have to envision placing themselves in a beautiful place and telling themselves that, you know, and feeling into it. So it really is working with their feelings. But, you know, they say, I don't know how to feel. I don't have that feeling. I'm not at that vibration. I can't be happy right now. So that's when you start, okay, we're going to start at this, we're going to start here and we're going to work towards it.
That's
And
beautiful.
yeah, so that's what it is. It's working with them, and that they have to envision it and they have to hold it and they have to add emotion to it. And when you do that, you're going to actually move yourself up to a different timeline, even a timeline. So you're in an alternate reality that is going to put you at a better, you're going forward, and you're going forward more positively.
Oh, that's beautiful. I have literally seen that when people, you know, equals MC squared, everything is energies in motion, right?
Yeah.
The formula is mass times this constant, which is the speed of light squared. Everything, we are meant to be channels. Everything is meant to move through us. Energy is meant to go through us. And when it comes to us with such a velocity and such a speed, like a shock or something that we can't ameliorate, we stop the flow and it backs up and it becomes cancer.
Correct.
And so what you're allowing them to do is to feel their emotions and to be able to move through them. That's brilliant work, Maria.
Well, the other thing that I do want to point out about that, Lynn, is that all of these traumas, all of these emotions, they have basically found that between the age of 0 and 7 is when they all come in. So they're all in place by the time you're 7.
Yep.
So you work with the inner beliefs of people to take them back to that. And there are processes for that, to do that, and then to get them to release it. And you're taking them out into the quantum field to get it away, and you move them. It's very interesting work.
That's beautiful.
To do it. Yeah.
It's exactly, I've got 30 students between 2 classes in a course that I call the Quantum Living Curriculum, and we're teaching them these tools and techniques. I applaud what you're doing, and I love that you're doing that, because there's what's probable based on your history and what your behavior is.
Yeah.
Then there's what's possible.
Right.
But when you step into the quantum field, you've come to the field of pure potentiality.
Correct.
And there, everything is possible.
Yep.
There's a woman that Miriam May and I have been working with. Her name is Melanie Ann Lair, and Melanie talks about these different stages.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can step into that quantum, you're literally in the midst of consecutive parallel lifetimes. You've literally shifted your lifetime from one to another. And it's brilliant that you're doing that work. I so deeply honor that.
Oh, thank you. I think the exciting thing about medicine, besides the med beds and all that, is people are going to start to learn about this, so that we're just healthier going forward. The whole population, this is not information that's going to be hidden from people. It's going to be taught from a very young age.
Yep.
And that's the positive. So it's an amazing time, and it's getting more amazing. But you know, you really have to do the work. I will say that you have to actually go
Yep.
inside
Work.
and face, because you can't get rid of something that you're not aware of, right? You don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
You actually have to identify what the trauma is, or what the shame is, or the guilt, or whatever's going on. You have to, and then you can start to work on it. But
Right.
all of that's in place by age 7.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I was actually working with someone recently, and they weren't able to see what happened in this lifetime, but they were actually able to look at another lifetime, like a past lifetime, if you will, and they were able to heal it in that dimension. So I'm giving people in the work that I do options.
Yeah.
You know, I just recently uncovered memories that were devastating to me that happened pre-verbal between 6 months and 18 months.
Right.
And, you know, at 59 years old. So sometimes it's easier, you know, it gives people options, is what I believe. Wherever you need to go to unpack that, go there, because it's all
Right.
happening at once anyway. You
It
know?
is. And it's all work you do with the subconscious, right? It's all in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I'm in a hypnosis training right now, and I've been having a blast with it. April and I are in it together with one of my work associates, Alicia, and another client of mine, and there's 8 of us in the class. But it's fascinating when you start going into the realm of where the higher self lives, then the realm of super consciousness, and then when you go into that quantum realm, because you get taken through that journey through those,
Mhm.
it's unbelievable. Everything's there.
Mhm.
Everything is healable within that realm.
Yeah,
Oh, sure.
it is. You know, whether
Well-
they do it or not, you know, that's not up to you. You're just there to assist them. You give them the tools, but they have to heal themselves. You know, people don't come and say, heal me. I'm not here to heal you. I'm
No.
here to help, to assist
Exactly.
you in your journey, whatever that is.
There's a quick question from the platform. Do you find that people can look at and heal the emotion without the story?
I'm not sure I understand that. Oh, without creating a story?
No, without telling what the story was between 0 and 7. Like, can you just go in and heal the energy without knowing
Yes.
what the story is?
Right. Yes. So the group that I've been in a coaching training for a while with a group out of Toronto, and part of so in that training, yes, because the subconscious knows exactly where to go, right? So when you're working with the subconscious, you don't have to. You're just going to say the first thing that feels right or comes to your mind.
Yep.
And then you're working with that. So you don't have to be specific, but the whole point is to go back to that event and to forgive it from the quantum field.
Yes.
So that, yeah. And no, you don't have to have the exact event. You just have to be open to going back and addressing it and standing, and yeah, there's a whole process to it. Yep.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. The fact that we don't have to go back into the nitty-gritty details of each instance. And that's where Saint Germain comes in every week in this group, every week in my messages, talking about the transmutational effects of the violet, right? The violet consuming flame, focusing on the violet, that frequency that transmutes all of these aspects that don't serve us, that cause us to have that dis-ease. And we can expedite it. And that's what this tool was brought to us, I think 150, 200 years ago. You know, that's based on the history that I've read about Saint Germain. And but that was to help humanity. They saw from the other side of the veil saying, okay, humanity is not going to make it over that tipping point of 2000, 2012, whatever it is, 1989, if they don't start clearing all of this karma, nonsense, disease that everyone's carrying with them. So by giving us this tool of the violet to help us transmute and expedite this without having to dig so deeply to turn over every rock and look under, you know what I'm saying? And,
I do. Yeah.
That was a message. Saint Germain came in this morning and gave me that message again. I'm like, okay, well, that's perfect because it works tonight with tonight's discussion.
It does.
That is raised by calling forth the violet flame is extraordinary. It literally is burning off the impurities. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Joanne had raised her hand one more time.
Mia, since you started your talk about your the things that you admired when you were a child, it occurs to me that this is something that you could do with children. Do you plan to work with children with cancer? And if you did, how would you adjust your protocol for them, since they may only be 7 years old?
Boy, I don't know. That really would, yeah. I don't plan on starting with children because I'm not trained to do that. So I would probably look for a referral for that to start. And then as I get more training down the line, perhaps, yeah. Yeah, I
That'd
think
be
you really
great.
do need to be trained, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great one to call upon Spirit to ask for guidance.
Yeah.
Now, Maria, you've written these books. You're an author. What is your career? What has
Well,
been your career up to this point?
my career was media. I was in media. I was a producer, director, writer, producer, director for years, and had a great time. But really, the 2017 cancer really almost, I mean, pretty much ended. I have done a few jobs since then, but I'm not really hireable. Nobody's going to hire a cancer person. It's just with insurance and everything, it just doesn't happen. You basically have to work for yourself. So since I'm still around, I thought, well, I better do something. So yeah, and I do want to share what my journey, because I think it could help other people. But one of the things I want to say is, once you've cleared out the old stuff, then the important thing is using your present moment now, the now, to stay focused in the now, and to make sure that you're fully aligned in the now, because right now you're creating your future. So if you don't want to continue a disease or anything, you can't talk about it, you can't think about it, you have to put it behind you. And when I said put cancer behind you, that's what I meant, because you cannot focus on that. You are contaminating your present moment, and you're going to extend that into your future.
Absolutely.
So that's a no. That's a no. And most people don't understand that. The first thing when they're sick, oh my God, I mean, they just, I mean,
Right. It's the alignment.
conversations
Stop
are all
aligning
about
with
how
what you
sick
don't
you are.
want.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to stop that
Stop
immediately. Immediately. No, no, and no. Absolutely not. Cannot do it. Or you're absolutely guaranteeing that you will have more of that in the future.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Carolyn Mace wrote this brilliant book called Why People Don't Heal and How They Can.
Right.
And she said she started listening to the conversations that people had, and people talked in the language of their illnesses.
Right.
What was wrong with them?
Yeah.
It's funny, my mom's 82 now, and I call and she's either talking about the food they ate or talking about the illnesses. And I pointed it out to her one time and I said, Mom, every conversation involves food, either what she's cooking, what she's preparing, what she's shopping for, or, like, this is, but not just what's wrong with her, what's wrong with her friends. And she has this little prayer group, and they get together and they talk about this one's limit. It's like the language that people traffic in.
Sure.
Right.
So,
You
it's like,
cannot do it.
I don't want to talk about religion. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to talk about illness. Let's
Yeah.
talk about potentiality. Let's talk about what we can do to heal this.
Right. Let's talk about how good you feel. Let's talk about what you love to do right now. Let's talk about what you're excited about, what
Yes.
you're passionate about.
Yes.
That is healing, right?
Yeah.
Instead of what's taking you down in frequency, talking about disease. Yeah.
Right.
Lately, I've literally been stopping people if they're in conversations. I said, stop. I can't have this conversation.
No.
Yeah, stop
That's
being
not
the
healthy.
victim. Be victorious.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop with that victim. I
Yeah.
met a woman recently, an older woman, who I work in a public, government building, and she came in looking for some assistance for something, and said, I was a victim of an assault. And her whole thing started with her being the victim of an assault. And I listened to what she said to someone else, a coworker of mine. And when she was all done, I said, when did that happen? And she said, in like 2011. I said, when are you going to stop being a victim? You own that every day. It's your life every day. And the woman, like, I saw the lights went off. I mean, they went on like, oh my God. And then we had a brief conversation and she thanked me and she left. But I was like, you've been carrying that for 10 years. It was 10 years of being the victim.
It's hard to let it go, right? For some people, it's very hard.
This stuff. You've got to clear it up.
A client said to me, my diabetes. And I said, excuse me? She said, my diabetes. I have, when I heard her say, I have diabetes, what I heard in my head was, I am diabetes.
Yes.
She was claiming it like it was hers. And I was like, wow.
Right.
Like, what a powerful statement. What a manifestation. almost like a badge, you know, like one of those little pink
Yeah.
ribbons or red ribbons or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We must become so vigilant. I'm teaching a class right now called Quantum Communication, and I keep saying to people, we have to be so vigilant about the words that we're speaking, about the thoughts that we're thinking, about how we interact and relate with people. And Deborah was just saying to me how powerfully profound it is that when you make a decision about somebody, it completely alters the landscape of how you see that person, how you interact with that person. And
Mhm.
coming to that awareness, Maria, like you were saying, it literally can heal it in an instant. In an instant. That's the power of our minds.
That
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it
I
is.
have a brief message I want to read. It's a quick
Please,
one page.
please, yeah.
And this segues right in. And this is from Lakshmi, another one of my guides. Excuse me. I said, Lakshmi, yes, Robert. I said, do you have a message for me to share today? I would be most delighted to share with you words of great significance. The power of the mind is so great, and quite often one forgets and lets the mind wander.
Mm.
It is important now to stay focused on the things you want to see in your world and pay no mind to anything else. Creation is yours, and your thoughts are like a sculptor's chisel. So with every swing of the mallet, you can be creating your masterpiece or simply chipping away at your soul. So as has been stated so often, polish up those thoughts, clean up those words, and imagine only the best outcome for every situation. Know that this is truth, and know that your divinity is real, and it only requires acknowledgement. Once recognized, each has the power to change their entire life, health, and surroundings. It only takes loving focus and compassionate action to create the new and better world in which to live. So again, I say, expect great things, and it shall be. Dream like never before, for the things you have always wanted to see in your life, and watch them take shape. Manifestation and abundance are the new protocol taking shape in this new reality for all who choose to live in light. We love you, we bless you, and we look forward to conversing again. Lakshmi and the team.
Beautiful.
So it's polish up those thoughts, polish up those words, right? It's all about what we think. We're creating it with our words.
We are. And, you know, I think at some point we should have a session on how to allow. You know, you've asked, universe has responded, it's given, it's sitting right there in your vortex. It's just waiting for you to allow it to manifest. That's where that's where we all need help. And we should come back and circle back at some point and talk about that.
I love that. The art of receiving.
Yeah.
You know, they say that the heart chakra is green. Green is when we're giving. But when we let ourselves receive, the heart chakra goes pink. That's why rose quartz is so effective. Jesus had told Sandy Coronado to have me get a rose quartz rosary. And this is the one that I found, and I wear it every day. And and what I've noticed is there were 2 days recently where I didn't have it on, and I got a little snarky. That can happen with me sometimes. Okay, both Deborah and Joanne, two of my best friends, are like laughing their asses off right now.
I see them laughing there.
How dare you? Anyway, I think the art of receiving is a beautiful conversation to have.
I agree. And I think there's a lot of people in our community who could really contribute to that. So, yeah.
I love that. Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Rob and I had a conversation yesterday, and we had like April and May to fill for these sessions. And I've scheduled 7 people in the past day, just inviting, you know, friends, including Joanne's going to be coming on as a guest. Deborah's going to be coming on as a guest, talking about, and Miriame is going to be coming on as a guest. Miriame speaks light language. I've invited Karen. I'm going to invite her again. If you know anybody who has a relationship with spirit that they would like to share, please, we'd love to put that word out. I don't know who you're pointing to.
Susan.
Oh, Susan.
Yeah.
Susan's hiding.
Susan's hiding.
Susan is hiding.
I love Susan.
Susan hasn't
I love
shown-
Susan.
We love your photo, Susan.
Thank you. Hold on. I have a little one here with me.
Hi, Liam.
That was a well-timed muting.
Okay.
So Susan's written a book in which it was a recipe book based on using materials out of Trader Joe's exclusively. So another published author in the family.
Wow.
And Susan is a nutritionist by
Mhm.
Education and by experience. And yeah, okay.
And
Susan,
can I add to that? So the second book that is not yet published, well, really second, third, and I have at least two more, and they're really more along this line, these lines, and truly complement what Maria is also, working on with healing people. So mine is healing from, these other lifestyle factors.
Mhm.
So stay tuned.
And they are important. They are important.
They really are.
Lifestyle is contributory. It's not the primary, but it certainly is important. And Susan was a great help to me. Let me tell you this, in helping me to keep me healthy, because she turned me on to so many things that weren't in my diet. So many. She's got me on supplements that when I actually started taking them, my blood levels were even better. So it's all important. It's all it's a holistic approach to just well-being is what it is. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Maria, the name of your first book again is?
Is Put Cancer Behind You. It's out on April 6th. You can actually pre-order it now. It's a primer. It's a tiny little book, but it's just a primer on the basic tenets of A Course in Miracles. That's what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's-
But I'm going to give a plug to Gary Renard here, because the best thing in my mind about Gary Renard's work is he has a prayer in there of true forgiveness, and I actually used it in this one. I do give him credit for it.
Would you read that to us, my love?
I'll just say it. So what you do constantly to stay well, true forgiveness is you envision the person that you want to forgive in front of you, and you say, you're not really there. If I think you're guilty or the cause of the problem, and I made you up, then the imagined guilt and fear must be in me. Since the separation from God never really occurred, I forgive both of us for what we haven't really done. And I join with the Holy Spirit in peace. You are the Christ, pure and innocent. All is forgiven and released. You are the Christ, pure and innocent. All is forgiven and released. You are the Christ, pure and innocent. All is forgiven and released. And I say that every single time. That is true forgiveness right there. Because I'm envisioning that person as the Christ, and I'm with them outside of my body as spirit, as a Christ. And we're just together, and there's nothing else there. There's nothing to forgive. It never happened. I made you up. You're the mirror of me. There we go.
Beautiful.
That's oneness right there.
It's oneness. And that came from Gary Renard.
Mhm.
I love that. It's
Actually,
funny,
Art and in person.
Rob had said the other day that he thought that the Course in Miracles was really for beginners. And I said, I beg to differ.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Gary Renard is a great way to introduce yourself to A Course
Actually,
in Miracles if you're not familiar
yeah.
with it.
Yeah, you know what, Rob? You would enjoy that book.
He's funny. He's funny.
He's funny and he's snarky. I think you might appreciate his humor.
So great.
But my best friend Sherry, who lives 5 doors down from me, said it is the best description of what actually happens. To her, it's her favorite book ever.
It's
And she bought
wonderful.
it from me years ago, and I was in a very dark place in 2019.
Yeah.
And 2019 was when Rob was at my house one night for meditation with a friend of ours named Rosemary, and Sanat Kumara came in, like of all beings, and said, you're about to lose, like this one's going down. And I was like, what? Like I was blown away when I listened to the recording again. And literally Disappearance of the Universe was calling to me from my bookshelf, read me, read me, read me. And I never wanted it to end. And at the end of that book, there was a voice that came into my head one day, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do the Course in Miracles again, and I'm going to get all the way through it this time. And the voice said to me, wouldn't it be great if there was someone actually channeling Jesus and reading the lessons every day? And I was like, oh, I wonder what I would search for. And the voice says, channeling Jesus. And I literally Googled channeling Jesus. There popped Tina. This was November of 2019. So I was like, January 1st, I'm going to start again. And I found you guys. So Maria, thank you for bringing Joanne in. You know, Joanne, thank you for Maria and for Susan. I love you guys dearly. You know, you are my soul family. The Course in Miracles brought me Deborah. It brought me Lloyd. it brought me this gorgeous community. It brought me Karen, it brought me Miriam, all people that I met over on that platform.
It's a
And
beautiful community. Yeah.
oh my God. And with Rob, it's brought me his sisters, Mary and Rory, who are both here. And, what a gorgeous community we have. And now Lloyd, I don't know if you know, but Lloyd's receiving direct communications from Source.
I actually read them all the time and I love
Aren't
them.
they gorgeous?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
Yep.
All right.
We
And I
can't
just got a
leave
message.
without one plug. You mentioned Susan's book. The name of Susan's book is
Susan
Lighten Up.
Lighten Up.
with Trader Joe's.
Yeah, it's a Cooking with Trader Joe's cookbook called Lighten Up,
Okay.
because we all need to lighten up. And I actually say on my website and for many years that life is meant to be fun. And my own sister just reminded me of that, because it's been a rough time now recently, losing our brother. And so we all need to lighten up. My next book, if it happens, I want to give away the title, but I don't think I should.
When it happens, restate that.
When it happens. Exactly.
Yeah. When it happens.
By the way, can I just note, I have my copy of The Disappearance of the Universe right here that Maria gave me years ago. And I'm on page 256, if anybody has it, under the Law
how
of Forgiveness.
fun. How fun. It's such a great book.
Such a great book.
Yeah. Rob, I'm definitely going to get you a copy of that.
Okay.
So I just got a message from our friend Steve Davis that he finally made it home to Washington. He just texted me. So I just wanted to give that shout out to our friends that know him. He was the person that helped me move. Jesus came to me and he said, ask Steve if he's willing to be flown to New York to help you pack and then drive you down to Virginia and then help you unpack. And I was like, what? And I said, Steve, are you game? And he was like, heck yeah, I've never been to New York. And he was here with me 6 weeks. What an absolute blessing.
Wow.
So he just took his truck and drove all the way back to the state of Washington from Virginia.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, incredible. And we spoke earlier today and I said, please text me when you get home. So the text just came in. So it's great news. Really, really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Maria, I love you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to have you come down and see the house.
Yay.
And,
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And I look forward to your next book. I know you're working diligently.
Yeah, it's almost done. I just have to check a few things and then it's out the door.
Huge prayers to you. Does anyone have any final questions for Maria before she leaves? Thank you all so much for being here. We had quite a few people watching on Facebook, so this is going to go far and wide. This will get posted on my YouTube channel and people will see it. And we'll put Maria, do you have a website or a link?
I don't, no, I really don't. Yeah, it's coming. It's just not up yet. So yeah.
If you need any help with that, we've got a few millennials around here that can definitely help you get that done. Anyway, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here tonight, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Much blessings.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll see you
Love you.
Next Sunday.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Safe. Enjoy your week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay.
Take care, Pete.
That was the
Take care.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks,
Bye, Kat.
Kat. Great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. Good meeting.
That was really sweet. So Rob, I think we have 2 spots open. So we're now booked. That was really sweet.
Yeah, very nice.
We're now booked so Mariame has agreed to come in. Daniel Ackner has agreed to come in. We
Okay.
haven't picked dates yet. And Susan, that was so sweet having all the sisters here.
Yeah, very nice. Well, a lot of writers in that family.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, babe, I'm coming into town the weekend of April 23rd, 24th, 25th.
Oh, good.
I'm coming in to do my Karuna Reiki Master thing with Terry Leone. It also happens to be my aunt's 88th birthday, so we're going to go into the city. But that Saturday night, a bunch of us were going to get together and go to Kashi for dinner. And it was going to be Sarah Curley, Joe Dyro, Tammy Cool, Deborah Passardi, Michelle Denning, me,
I'd love to join
James and Alicia. I wanted to know if you'd like to join us.
Absolutely.
Okay, beautiful. I'll make dinner reservations. It's a Saturday night, so I was thinking maybe 6, so it's like on the earlier side of people. Okay, great.
Yeah. All
Good.
right.
That
Everything
sounds
closes
good.
at 10 still anyway, so.
Right. So 6 is perfect.
Right.
All right, baby.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Definitely.
Rest.
Good evening.
Good night. You
Thanks.
too.
You
hon.
too.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Lovey.
Bye, Rob.